A comprehensive guide to building your emergency fund. Unexpected events are an inevitable part of life. Whether it's a dental mishap from biting into a stubborn popcorn kernel, an air conditioner malfunction during scorching summer days, or even a sudden job loss, the last thing you want is to fret over how to cover the expenses. Imagine being able to sleep peacefully, knowing you have a safety net in place for these unpredictable moments. If the idea of such financial security seems too good to be true, let me assure you, it is entirely attainable. In this guide, we will delve into the intricacies of an emergency fund, ranging from its definition to the best places to allocate your savings. By understanding and implementing the principles outlined here, you can embark on a journey towards a worry-free existence, where the comfort of financial stability is a reality. Understanding the essence of an emergency fund. An emergency fund refers to a designated pool of funds specifically reserved for unforeseen expenses that life throws your way. Whether it's unexpected car repairs, unplanned hospital visits, or even the unfortunate event of losing your job, having an emergency fund provides you with the ability to address these financial surprises swiftly and confidently. By setting aside this money, you gain the freedom to handle both major and minor unexpected costs without relying on credit or facing unnecessary stress. The importance of having an emergency fund. There are numerous compelling reasons why having an emergency fund is crucial. Here are a few notable ones. 1. Preparedness. Just as you meticulously plan your budget to account for expected expenses, an emergency fund allows you to prepare for the unexpected. By having a financial cushion in place, you can tackle unforeseen costs with confidence and ease. 2. Cost savings. Relying on a credit card as your emergency fund can lead to additional expenses in the form of interest payments. By having cash readily available, you can promptly cover emergency costs without incurring unnecessary debt, saving yourself from the burden of interest charges. 3. Peace of mind. According to a research study conducted by Ramsey Solutions, a significant portion of Americans, 54%, express daily concerns about their financial situation. Alarmingly, 34% of them have no savings at all. This persistent worry can disrupt your peace and keep you awake at night. However, with an emergency fund in place, you can experience a sense of security and tranquility, knowing that you have a financial safety net to rely on. The rainy day metaphor. Your grandmother may have referred to an emergency fund as a rainy day fund for good reason. Life's unexpected challenges are inevitable, and sometimes they can escalate into significant crises. By having an emergency fund, you will be prepared to weather these storms, free from the burdens of interest payments and unnecessary worry. Determining the ideal size of your emergency fund. Let's delve into the question of how much you should save for your emergency fund. The answer to this query depends on several factors. Starter emergency fund. If you currently have consumer debt, it is recommended to start with a starter emergency fund of $1,000. While this amount may appear modest, it serves as a temporary buffer while you focus on paying off your debt. Fully funded emergency fund. Once you have successfully eliminated your debt, the next milestone is to establish a fully funded emergency fund. This entails saving 3 to 6 months' worth of expenses. But how do you determine whether you should aim for 3 months or 6 months of expenses? It's simpler than you might think. Just follow this straightforward guideline. Consider saving for 3 months of expenses if you're single with no dependents and enjoy a steady income. You're married and both you and your spouse have stable incomes. Consider saving for 6 months of expenses if you're married and rely on a single income. You're a single parent. Your occupation is seasonal, resulting in fluctuating income. Someone in your household experiences chronic illness, leading to additional medical expenses. Either you or your spouse is self-employed, works on commission, or has an irregular income pattern. To determine how much you should save for your emergency fund, start by assessing your typical monthly expenses. Take a look at your bank account statements to get an accurate picture. Once you have that number, multiply it by 3 or 6, depending on your specific circumstances. For instance, in the United States, the average monthly expenses range from approximately $4,000 for singles to nearly $8,600 for a family of 4. However, it's important to note that these figures encompass all budgetary items, such as streaming services, dining out, and haircuts. In the event of a worst-case scenario, such as losing your job and relying on your emergency fund for a couple of months, you need to switch to a bare-bones budget that covers only essential expenses. This means eliminating discretionary spending and focusing solely on crucial necessities. Fancy extras can be temporarily set aside during this period. With this in mind, ensure that your emergency fund is sufficient to cover your bills, essential groceries, and transportation costs, such as fuel for your vehicle. If you feel more comfortable having a larger cushion for added peace of mind, it's perfectly acceptable to save beyond the minimum recommendation. Choosing the right place for your emergency fund. Now that you understand the importance and recommended amount for your emergency fund, You may be wondering about the most suitable location to keep your funds secure and accessible. Ensure that your emergency fund is held in a liquid account, meaning it can be easily and quickly accessed when needed. Consider these options. 1. A simple savings account linked to your checking account. 2. A money market account with debit card or check writing capabilities. 3. An online bank with higher interest rates and seamless fund transfers. 4. Avoid storing your emergency fund in a shoebox tucked away in a sock drawer or buried in your backyard. 5. Likewise, refrain from placing it in investment accounts where the value may fluctuate in the short term. Remember, your emergency fund serves as insurance rather than an investment. The key is to strike a balance between security and accessibility. You want to have the ability to swiftly and effortlessly pay for unexpected expenses such as medical bills or car repairs. However, it's essential to avoid the temptation of dipping into the fund for trivial reasons. This leads me to the next point: determining when to utilize your emergency fund. So you encounter an unexpected expense that feels like an emergency, but you're unsure if it's the right time to tap into your emergency fund. Here's a guideline to help you make that decision. Firstly, assess if you can make adjustments to your budget for the current month to cover the expense. Temporarily foregoing non-essential expenses to avoid dipping into your savings is a worthwhile endeavor. Remember, once you withdraw from your emergency fund, you'll need to rebuild it. If rearranging your budget for the month isn't sufficient, ask yourself the following 3 questions. 1. Is it unexpected? 2. Is it necessary? 3. Is it urgent? If you answer yes to all 3 questions, then you are facing a genuine emergency, and it is appropriate to utilize your emergency fund to address the situation. Creating an emergency fund, a step-by-step approach. If you currently do not have an emergency fund, or you have come to the realization that your existing fund is insufficient, it is crucial to begin building one. Here's a step-by-step guide on how to get started. Establishing your savings goal. To begin building your emergency fund, it's essential to set a clear savings goal. Determine which fund you are targeting, the $1,000 starter emergency fund or the 3 to 6 month fully funded emergency fund. Before you can work towards that target, you need to define it. If you were aiming for the fully funded emergency fund, the key is to refer back to the earlier chart, perform your own calculations, and select a savings goal that instills confidence in you. If it provides you with an extra level of financial security, don't hesitate to save a bit more. If you are married, ensure that the chosen savings goal is mutually agreed upon. Collaborating as a team to achieve the goal becomes much more manageable when both partners are on the same page and share the same financial objectives. Create a budget. Now that you have determined your target savings amount, it's time to develop a budget that will help you achieve your goal. Remember, a budget is a tool to plan and allocate your money effectively. If you want to prioritize saving, it needs to be included in your budget. If your aim is to save $1,000, adopt an intense approach and strive to accomplish this within a month. Focus on maximizing your savings during this period. If you are working towards your fully funded emergency fund, incorporate a specific line item in your budget dedicated to savings. Approach this goal 1 month at a time, consistently allocating funds towards your emergency fund. By creating a budget that includes your savings objective and diligently adhering to it, you will make steady progress towards building your desired emergency fund. Reduce your expenses. Regardless of the amount you aim to save, if your current budget doesn't allow for extra savings, it's necessary to make adjustments. This entails reducing your expenses by either spending less or eliminating certain costs altogether. Consider implementing these ideas to inspire your expense-cutting efforts. Opt for generic brands when shopping for groceries and household items to save on expenses. Plan your meals in advance to minimize grocery spending and avoid unnecessary purchases. Explore affordable lunch options and avoid eating out during the work week. Join a grocery rewards program that offers discounts on gas without the need for a credit card. Shorten your shower time to reduce water consumption and lower your water bill. Evaluate your streaming service subscriptions and consider reducing them to 1 or eliminating them entirely. Challenge yourself to have a no-spend month where you limit your purchases to essential items only. Boost your income. To further enhance your monthly savings, increasing your income is a viable approach. Consider the following methods to generate additional revenue. Work overtime. Pursue a side hustle. Secure freelance clients. Sell items. In a recent audience poll, working overtime emerged as the preferred method for increasing income. However, the choice ultimately depends on your circumstances and preferences. Whichever path you choose, ensure that the extra income is accounted for in your budget. By allocating it towards your savings goals, you can stay on track and build your emergency fund efficiently. Streamline your savings with automation. Here's a final tip for building your emergency fund. Once you have determined the monthly amount you intend to save, take advantage of automation to simplify the process. Set up an automatic transfer from your paycheck to your savings account. By doing so, you eliminate the temptation to divert those funds towards other expenses like concert tickets or impulsive shopping sprees. Assign a purpose to your savings, building your emergency fund. By automating the transfer directly to your savings account, you ensure that the money fulfills its intended role. This proactive approach helps you stay on track and removes the need for conscious decision-making each month. Take the step to automate your savings and enjoy the peace of mind that comes with knowing your emergency fund is growing consistently. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video. Bye.